Good afternoon. I call to order the Knox County Commission meeting for Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Madam Clerk, if you will call the roll, please.
Commissioner Rawls.
Present.
Commissioner Darrett. Commissioner Oster.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Russell.
Here.
Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
Commissioner Fox. Commissioner Jay.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Present.
10 members are present.
Thank you. And I don't see any elected officials in the audience. I do see Dr. Riswick, though. Hello. I will now turn it over to Commissioner Jay for our devotion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, as you all know, as I represent the entirety of Knox County and all 506,000 citizens, I've used my time on commission over the last 7 years and my rotation of the devotional to welcome different denominations, different faiths, different representations of our faith community, which I think is incredibly important to Knox County, and giving them an opportunity to come and address us and be part of our meetings as a way to build some unity across all of our denominations and communities as a whole. And tonight, I'm very, very proud to welcome former Leadership Knoxville classmate and good friend, the president of Knoxville Catholic High School, Dickie Somberak, to join us and offer today's devotion on behalf of the Catholic Church.
Thank you, Jay. I asked Jay before I led this group in prayer if I could just say a few words. My father was a county commissioner for 12 years, and a lot of that was during me and my siblings' kind of formative years. So we were often used to phone calls late at night about potholes outside of neighborhoods that were of dire importance. So I appreciate what you guys do as public servants, and know that this isn't your full-time job. It's something you do to give back to your community. So thank you for that. Let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, we come before you this day with hearts full of gratitude for the many blessings you have bestowed upon our community and our nation. We thank you for the gift of public service and for the men and women who labor, often quietly and without recognition, for the good of all. As we gather at the outset of this commission meeting, we invoke your presence and guidance. Bestow upon these leaders the wisdom to discern what is just, the courage to act with integrity, and the humility to serve with compassion. May all deliberations undertaken this day be rooted in a spirit of justice, peace, and a sincere commitment to the common good. O Lord, in a particular way, we lift up our prayer for all those who serve in the public sphere, our elected officials, civil servants, educators, and those who hold positions of leadership and trust. We ask you to surround them with your protection, especially in these times of uncertainty and unrest. We pray, too, for the repose of the souls lost in recent tragedies, particularly the victims of the heartbreaking events at Annunciation School in Minnesota and the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, a political activist in Utah. Console their families and communities with the peace that only you can give, and turn our hearts ever more firmly toward a path of peace and reconciliation. We pray for our country that we may always seek justice with mercy, respond to hate with love, and build peace in our hearts and in our world. May your divine providence watch over this commission, this country, and this nation. And may all that is undertaken here today be done for your greater glory and the service of all people. And we ask this as we do all things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll now turn it over to Commissioner Jackson for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll please stand, rise, and face the flag.
Thank you. Next is the amendments to the agenda. Do we have anything that needs to be changed from what you guys see? Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just request that if we could, the interview process and voting for BZA and Library and Merit Board be moved a little earlier on so that we don't keep these folks till the end of the meeting.
Okay. I believe that is number 20, let's see, 24, 25. Oh, 25 and 26, sorry. Okay. Anything else? All right, do I have a motion?
Do we have the deferrals and non-consents?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we do, right over here to the side. Additions, number 27. Deferred October is 28 and 29. Withdrawals is 32. And then non-consents, 20 through 22, 24 through 27, 30, 31, 33, and 34. Non-consent again, 20 through 22, 24 through 27, 30, 31, 33, and 34. I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson. Do I have a second? Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Yes. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the education and general consent calendars.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Frazier. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We have no honorary resolutions. All right, Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Item number 18 is a presentation from Orion.
Good evening, Commissioners. The mayor's not here today, so I was tasked with introducing them, so I'm sorry. I know you'd much rather see him than me. But we do appreciate your time today. I want to encourage you all that we do have meetings this week coming up, both tomorrow, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. Tuesday night, we will be in the Ritta community and in the North Shore area, as well as Thursday night, we will be in Powell and South Knoxville, New Hopewell. So please encourage your constituents to come out and participate in those. But in doing so, as we approved the comp plan last year, one of the goals of that comp plan, we wanted to implement as part of this UDO and really take the vision to reality. And that's what we're trying to do today. And our consultant is here, Ryan, Allison Malk, and she will be here to talk about the regulatory audit and the roadmap in which we get there. So I'd like to introduce her and go from there.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Hello.
Good to see you all again. I believe you all have in front of you the presentation that I will step you through. So as it's coming up on the screen, we'll go ahead and get started. As Director Snowden pointed out, wanted to reinforce really quickly why we're here and what we're doing. And that is ultimately the creation of Knox County's first Unified Development Ordinance, which was, as a reminder, the first policy right out the gate in your comprehensive plan that you adopted a little over a year ago. That comprehensive plan identifies and reiterates the importance of improving the predictability and transparency of the development review process. And the creation of a UDO is front and center in that effort. So you might remember that in going through the presentation that we gave back in June, we were talking a little bit about why the creation of a Unified Development Ordinance is so important. The county's existing regulations are pretty outdated, and the result is that they're creating some unnecessary barriers to the desired outcomes that the community has stated they'd like to see as a result of the comprehensive plan. That alignment is really critically important, and you'll hear us reiterate how this effort is going to implement the intended goals, policies, and actions identified in that plan. Currently, there's a significant amount of inconsistency that we've identified in our review of the county's existing regulations, which can cause confusion and create confusion with users as well as with the staff administering the regulations. And that confusion can ultimately result in lack of predictability and extended procedural timeframes. So this effort is really an opportunity for us to implement the community's vision that they've stated through the comprehensive plan and really align that vision with the outcomes that the county would like to see. So just for everyone in the room, and as a reminder, the Unified Development Ordinance is in planning best practice, a modern practice of managing land use and development through a single document. So in Knox County's case, we're taking the zoning ordinance, the subdivision regulations, stormwater regulations, building codes, fire protection and prevention standards, and the roads, bridges, traffic, and vehicles regulations, combining over 800 pages of existing regulations into one unified ordinance that consolidates, aligns, and brings together those pieces and parts and reduces redundancy, improves efficiency, and results in a better outcome for both the development community, Knox County residents, and the county as a whole. So a quick recap, since our time with you all back in June, where we engaged with staff, community and technical committee members, and the chamber. Following that trip, we launched a user survey that engaged those groups of individuals as well as elected officials as yourselves. Many of you participated in that. We thank you very much for your input. We analyzed those results as we were also going through a very comprehensive line-by-line assessment of the county's regulations that will be combined into this Unified Development Ordinance. We've drafted an audit report that we've been reviewing with staff, and the recommendations of which will be the focus of our workshops with the community over the course of this week. So that audit process that I've just described, I wanted to highlight what we heard from those stakeholders that we engaged. The user survey netted us close to 100 responses, which is great in terms of those individuals we were really targeting based on their experience working with these regulations. And that combined with our conversations held on the ground in June really highlighted for us that the focus for this audit and the update of the regulations and creations of the UDO was reiterating that need for predictability while also allowing for flexibility to create unique development outcomes, good development outcomes. There's a clear desire for a greater mix of housing. Obviously, we want to modernize infrastructure and design standards to better align with best practice that we're seeing in other communities in Tennessee and beyond. There was a desire for balancing of community character with the need for development. You're growing, and development is not a bad thing. Certainly, we want the character that exists within Knox County to be protected and maintained as you're accepting and growing more houses and jobs. And ultimately, there was a desire across the board from those individuals being engaged to really emphasize alignment with an implementation of the comprehensive plan. So I want to highlight a few areas in our review and based on that feedback that we identified from the plan where the existing regulations are misaligned, because that really is our focus, not just in the creation of the UDO and the benefit that that provides, but also in updating the regulations so they once again reinforce the intended goals and outcomes from the plan. We know upon our review and working with the county so far that the plan promotes mixed use and walkable development in place types where it's appropriate. Again, encourages a mix of housing. There's an emphasis on protection of natural and cultural resources. There's a desire for more innovative development and subdivision strategies, the coordination of infrastructure as a result and to serve development, and improvements to transportation networks to increase safety, efficiency, and connectivity throughout the county. So I'm going to step you through some of the misalignment we found, starting with the place type and zoning district relationship. Currently, the zoning districts don't directly align with the place types that were adopted as part of the plan. And so there's great opportunity through the Unified Development Ordinance process to consider consolidating districts that overlap, updating existing districts to better reflect best practice and those standards and uses incorporated within, as well as the potential creation of new districts to reflect some of those place types that the county adopted and that previously weren't being used in the future land use vocabulary of the county. I mentioned infrastructure standards and the misalignment in the existing plan policies and actions and existing regulations. By and large, the standards today are pretty outdated, particularly when it comes to street design, street and road design, where the county has henceforth taken a one-size-fits-all approach to that infrastructure development and coordination that the comprehensive plan has identified as needing to evolve. There's pretty excessive parking requirements that we're learning from other communities are not really a best practice, and we can do a little bit better in terms of the ordinance requirements. And there's some pretty inflexible standards and setbacks when it comes to the regulations. The example up on the screen is just one of many when it comes to site design requirements that are misaligned with the outcomes identified in the comprehensive plan. So in this example, the RB general residential zone has some pretty explicit height regulations that identify that houses and duplexes are capped at a maximum of 36 feet, but then any other main building has an unlimited height restriction. So right there, I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. There's no reason for why we need to restrict the height of houses and duplexes and not anything else that's permitted in that zone. And so this is just one of many site design standards that we identified in our review don't facilitate the outcomes that are intended through those place types. As we've walked through the regulations, something that is not unique to Knox County and the other communities we've worked with is the way that uses are set forth in the zoning districts. Currently, each district provides a long list of the uses that are permitted or permitted on review. And so what we've done is taken all of those uses, which when you pull them out of each unique zoning district, total 385 distinct uses that are currently regulated in Knox County, many of which are duplicative, redundant, are slightly unique, or go into unnecessary detail when the impact of the use is pretty universal. And so in terms of improvement, as part of this process, we'll be looking to refine, consolidate, and update those uses to better reflect and support development that's permitted by right and development that reflects current activities within Knox County. As we've heard from you all, as well as the groups engaged in June and the reading of the comprehensive plan, natural resources and character within the county is important. That's stated explicitly throughout the pages of the plan, and yet the existing regulations don't afford much protection when it comes to natural resources and cultural resources in the county. And so that's certainly a misalignment with plan goals, stated goals and adopted goals. One of which is, just observing the topography around us in the development practices and requirements don't facilitate or allow or support development that's in tune and aligned with your topography. I mean, you are a very hilly environment. I come from the mountains, so I can appreciate that. And we want to accommodate and provide for opportunity to grow, but in a way that continues to respect the natural topography of the county and protect some of those natural resources within it. And so finally, we talked a lot in June about the administrative processes and procedures that form the backbone of any ordinance or regulations. I may have mentioned in my last conversation with you that we could update all of the regulation, we could write the best code in the world, and if the processes are still not improved, then it doesn't matter how good the content is, because the process and content are equally important. So currently, we found that the county's relying a little bit too much on negotiation as opposed to by right development and looking at where and when that's appropriate and allowing that to occur in a more streamlined way while still, again, protecting the things that we care about and expecting the outcomes that we want to see. Because of that over-reliance on negotiation, it has a tendency to create inconsistent outcomes and adds to the administrative burden just in terms of that review process and approval. It's a little hard to illustrate that conceptually on the screen, but one of the very basic things that we look at when we look to update code or create a unified development ordinance of this nature are those redundancies and conflicts. And so the example you see is just a very simple one where in looking at how we're defining terms that are used between these different sets of regulations, pulling terminology and definitions all into one location and defining, rather than having there be two terms, as this has for right-of-way between the subdivision regulations and the traffic and vehicles chapter, we're going to create one unified definition so there's not a conflict between the two that an applicant or staff has to wade through and navigate. So the audit report that will be released in short order really seeks to organize the recommendations to further the community's understanding of how a recommendation accomplishes the actions that are supporting the policy that are in alignment with the goals of the comp plan. So our intent was for you to be able to read this report and say, these recommendations are what further our ability to align with the goals and accomplish, further the policy and accomplish the action that the plan sets up. As I mentioned, our engagement this week will be looking at getting feedback from the community at large. We have 4 open house events that Director Snowden mentioned occurring tomorrow evening and Thursday evening. In between that, we will be meeting with our technical and community advisor constituents. We're also speaking with you this evening, and we have a workshop that we'll be doing on Thursday morning as well, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into those recommendations and be asking for your feedback as well. We have a virtual public workshop that will be held on Thursday over lunch for anyone who's not able to attend the public workshops in person. And we are also going to have all of the materials presented at the workshops available online with an interactive feature for the public to provide us input on those recommendations. So as far as next steps, I mentioned our time on Thursday will be spent walking through those recommendations in greater detail and interacting with you. We'll be looking to incorporate the feedback we received through this week and via the website to inform our next steps, which are 9 months of drafting of this unified development ordinance. And again, I didn't include the time frame from the last presentation, but we are looking to have that draft next spring and begin the adoption process next summer. So with that, I am happy to take any questions you have for me, but appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just curious, do you have an anticipation of how many pages you expect this unified document to be? We're replacing 800 pages. What?
I don't have a ballpark for you. I probably will have a better feel for that in another 3 months or so. Certainly less, but I would also, we've had these conversations in other communities that we've worked in. The expectation is in the streamlining, we're winnowing down page numbers. But our goal here is to also illustrate a lot of the regulations and concepts so they're easier to digest and understand to the user. And when you add illustrations and tables, that there's a trade-off there. So I wouldn't focus so much on the page number, but how the information is conveyed.
Okay, thank you. And I also have another question. How did you gauge the whether parking requirements were excessive or not? Because I think first of all, you have a lot of different particular zones, and so you have that issue of is it excessive in this zone or this other zone? But then, just if you could give some more, if you could flesh that out some more, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I think you'll recall we did a pretty lengthy tour. It spanned 3 days. We went all over the county. So part of that gauge was just our own observation as a team at different points in time, at different locations. There was a lot of parking that looked underutilized. That coupled with our evaluation of the existing parking requirements, they haven't been updated in some time, and so they're not really reflective of the ITE best practices or standards that we would see in other comparably sized communities. The other thing that we heard from our engagement with the technical advisory and community advisory committee members was that sometimes the parking requirements they feel like they're creating a barrier to just site design and development, and having to afford so much space to X number of parking spaces results in some trade-offs that were, maybe not viewed as undesirable. So.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When this process is done, you have in here a 9-month drafting process to complete the draft. Tell me and this may be a question either for our internal team or for you, what is the process in which it will come to this commission? Will it come as one document as an up or down, or will it come as something that is endlessly amended by 11 members with their own particular interests or, discussion items? I mean, what is the final voting process and adoption process when it comes to us?
Yeah, I think that's something that we haven't talked about yet, and will be part of our conversation about what that drafting process looks like. My preference working in communities would be to bring you a complete draft document. I think it's really important for you to understand how all the pieces relate to one another in terms of your review and evaluation. How it actually gets adopted would be something that I think we'll talk with staff about and come up with the best game plan so that it doesn't get, mired down and.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very important to come and have a clear path, because it's been the trend that years and years and years of work go into something. And even though everybody might have some involvement with the process, at the 0 hour, at the last meeting, a lot of stuff gets amended. And it's, we've gone through a whole process. And so I think it's really important to make sure we understand, where does this commission have input, where does the public have input, and what does the process look like, so somebody in the public doesn't get disenfranchised that they went through the whole process, but it got changed at the very last minute, or some commissioner may, say, well, wait, I didn't get a chance to go to here, how do I get my say into it too? This is a really big, we went through this with the land comprehension, the comprehensive growth plan, so.
Hi, Mady Benedict, Mayor's Office. We did learn a lot of lessons with the comprehensive plan, and so we worked it into the scope of work with the UDO to have a public input session and then have review with Planning Commission and County Commission, and then start the adoption process from there. So we'll have a draft time to get everybody's input together, and then we'll start the adoption process after that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Commissioner Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, we have an affordability crisis with many homes here in Knox County. One of the things that is always difficult for us on commission, and it's difficult for developers that I hear over and over, is how do we have clarity? How does this UDO provide clarity to developers and provide clarity to the community and provide clarity to the commission on, how do we, how do we structure this to where we understand what is allowed and how do we make housing more affordable? And then the second part of my question is, how do we also protect our green spaces and our hillsides? And in the rural conservation areas, is there an ability to make larger lots a requirement, like 1 per 5 acres, as an example?
Mm-hmm. So, to answer your question about affordability, I think there are many, many practices that we can employ in the update to the zoning regulations, in particular, as part that component of the UDO. What we heard and what we've experienced through the audit process so far is that predictability in terms of allowable uses and allowable density has been an issue, because, as you mentioned, when the expectation isn't clear, that doesn't net the best results or best feelings, whether you're the developer or a member of the community, and that process is negotiated. The density allowed or the uses allowed is a big question mark until you get to the end of the road. So I would, and we don't have anything set out yet, but the recommendations provide a recommended approach. Not, what I'm trying to say is we haven't set a number or said you need to change this standard or this density to that yet, but we will be having those conversations through the drafting of this document. And I think what will be important to consider as the adopting body is where we decide to set that very clear expectation that if you're in an RB district, the anticipated density is X, the uses that are permitted and permitted by right are Y, and the standards to which you will be held are Z. And obviously there's room for deviation in certain circumstances. We always want to, that's where that flexibility balance comes in. But I think the more we can move towards clarity for the applicant and the community on the front end of what the outcome will be, in working with developers on the other side of the table, a lot of the cost that's passed down to homeowners comes from the amount of time it takes to move through development and permitting review and the carrying costs that come with land and through the development process. So I think improving clarity, improving the timeliness of that negotiation or review process nets you some of those results on the back end, with the caveat that obviously we can't control the market. But to your second point, I think similarly there are opportunities to improve upon and introduce clustering provisions, incentives that would make it more desirable for a developer to look at a piece of land and be supported in kind of reducing the development footprint or having more large lot standards in place where appropriate to conserve the natural characteristics, again, building to the topographic constraints, reducing the, need to just clear a site or level a site to make it easier to move through the development process would be things we would look at.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. We appreciate all the hard work that's going into this. We know it's a lot, so thank
thank
you.
you.
We appreciate the presentation.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Next item.
The next item is a presentation by Home Builders Association of Greater Knoxville.
Good evening, Ben Mullins, 550 West Main Street. I don't know if that's required to be said today, but I'm so used to saying that, I don't know how to stand up here and not say that. I've been retained by the Home Builders, Greater Home Builders Association of Knoxville to present this just kind of brief overview of a report that I believe you all have that looked at the economic impacts of growth and development, particularly using a model to look at what the impact is for 100 homes built in Knoxville. Just a little bit of background information. The Home Builders Association is a non-profit trade association. It's been established in 1951. It's made up of over 500 companies engaged in various service industries for home construction and development. And this is in this area. Of these 500 members, 295 are based right here in Knox County and include over 150 Knox County home builders. First slide there, you'll see the Home Builders Association's greater territory includes multiple counties, not just Knox County, including Union, Granger, Blount, Loudoun, Anderson, Campbell, Roane, and Morgan counties. Next slide, please. Since 1996, the National Association of Home Builders have created this economic model to kind of track the economic benefits of home building. And they've used this model to generate reports all across the country for the last 30 years. Next slide, please. This is a comprehensive nature of the model, but what we wanted to do here is look at local benefits just in the Knox County area. And so there is a larger report of the greater areas for all the counties that we identified. But there's also, and what this report is focusing on is just here in Knox County, what that estimated economic impact would be for 100 homes built in 2025. Go ahead, next slide. There's 100. This is kind of just a high-level summary. This looks at not only the first-year impacts during the construction and development phase, but then also annualized impacts moving forward for the next 15 years. And not only just a direct comparison as to how much money is generated in tax revenue, et cetera, versus the infrastructure requirements for the homes, but also multiplier effects on income generated and jobs generated from the construction industry in and of itself, which is sometimes a factor that's hard to capture and often overlooked. And this model does try to look at that, and we'll talk about that in a lot more detail here in a moment. Just high-level summary, one-year impacts includes $37.1 million in local income, $4.2 million in taxes and other revenue, and 397 local jobs, and that's kind of pared down to a 100 home model. With reoccurring impacts, you're looking at an additional $4.8 million in local income, $1.6 million in taxes, and 66 jobs. And we can talk about the difference. Of course, when you're building and you're actually doing the development in year one, there's a lot more involvement, a lot more contractors involved. But after that, the job generation does reduce to 66 jobs, and we can talk about that more later as we need to. Next slide, please. This is just a slide to kind of summarize the methodology. I'll tell you, I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an economist. I several years ago, I minored in economics, and I couldn't tell you much more about it than that now. The actual methodology itself is laid out in excruciating detail in the report if you want to look at that more. I can't explain the methodology for you. So if you have questions, want to ask me to do math here at the podium, please don't. But basically, it's a three-phase analysis. Phase 1 and 2 are one-time effects, and phase 3 is an ongoing annual effect. If we, next slide. There, it talks about phase 1 there. Jobs, wages, and local taxes. That includes your permitting, your utility connection, your impact fees that are generated from the actual development, construction, sale of the home. Next slide. There we have phase 2 and phase 3, just kind of briefly summarize. Phase 2 is a ripple effect, and phase 3 is the annual ongoing effect. Phase 2 are the wages and profits for local residents earned during the construction period, which are then spent back into, at least a portion of it is captured back into the local economy, which produces other jobs and services that aren't necessarily directly related to the construction industry. And then phase 3 is, the ongoing effects of that after the homes have been built, developed, and occupied. Next slide, please. This is just talking more about the phase 1 in the construction. And we're looking at the sales price of the home, the contribution of the raw land costs, permitting, zoning, utility connections, the costs of that, taxes generated during this period, and then the wages and salaries generated by jobs supported by this initial construction phase. And this is why, the property is being entitled and while it is being constructed. Next slide. This is just a very high-level summary of phase 1, the value of construction plus the services provided at the closing, permit, hookup, impact fees. We don't have impact fees here, but just the permitting fees, then how that then flows, that money then flows into the local economy, and then also local income and taxes. Next slide, please. Again, this is a table kind of showing on 100 homes, kind of what that local income would look like for those 100 homes. And they're taking actual numbers and then using a model just to kind of look at it as at a 100-year slice. And so it makes for numbers that are easier to manage and deal with and discuss. Next slide. This is the revenue generated then, business property taxes, general sales tax, excise taxes, income taxes, et cetera. For 100 homes during the construction phase, you're looking at a total general revenue of about $1.9 million. Next slide, please. Phase 2, this is the construction ripple. If you earn dollars in Knox County, then you're going to spend some of it in Knox County. For example, a lawyer earns his fee and coming to the county commission and asking for a property to be rezoned, or he may spend some of that money that he earns in his fee on dance lessons for his daughter or buying a motorcycle or something like that. That produces income into the county that's not directly related to the construction or the taxes itself. Then dance teachers or motorcycle dealers, they will then take a portion of that money and spend in the local economy. And that ripple effect or that money multiplier effect is often hard to capture, and what this model, I think, particularly focuses on how to capture that. You're also bringing, I'll skip that. Let's go to the next slide. This is just, again, a high-level summary of phase 2, local income and taxes from phase 1, spending on locally produced goods and services, flows into the model for the local economy, local income and taxes, and how that then kind of circulates back as those dollars are then shared with other industries and spent in Knox County. Next slide, please. Again, this is, as before, a chart showing the induced effect of spending income and tax revenue from phase 1 in the phase 2 phase. Next slide. Again, this local government general revenue from this. So during this phase, you're looking at an annualized total revenue of $2.2 million into the government because of taxes and other fees that are generated from this. Next slide. Phase 3 is the ongoing impacts. You're looking at the longer-term impacts, or what they call successive ripples in economic activity. And this is where the math really takes over with assumptions on the impact of occupied homes on revenue generated by their occupation versus the ongoing impact of the homes on the local infrastructure itself. Next slide. Again, high-level visualization, income of occupants in new housing, increased property taxes, them spending on locally produced goods and services through this local model, and then how it circulates back as people continue to spend money as they live and operate and just become citizens of Knox County. Next slide. This is your kind of high-level chart showing, the income generated over, years once the homes are built and occupied. And you see, the number of jobs generated then from the initial construction, and that goes down to where that 66 number is talking about. But it does, 100 homes will create new jobs in Knox County as more people are working here and more people are spending more money here. Next slide. Local government generation, local government general revenue by type. This shows what's generated as this ongoing effect of new homes being occupied occur here. I've spent a lot of time talking about income generation. Let's talk about costs compared to revenue. Next slide. When you're talking about the costs compared to revenue, in the first year, again, this is the 100 single-family homes built in Knox County, is about $5 million in tax and other revenue for local government, about $329,000 in current expenditures to provide public services to the net new households at current levels. This isn't talking about improving the infrastructure, just maintaining what is there. We all know infrastructure does need to be improved, and there are expenses with that. But to maintain the current level of services, that's where this figure comes into play. And then $2.2 million in capital investments for new structures and equipment. This is, the ongoing expenses that the government has to incur to maintain and service these new residents and these new homes. Next slide. Typical first year after phase 1, you're talking about $1.6 million in taxes and $658,000 in local government expenditures. The difference between government revenue and current expenditures, that's defined as your operating surplus. In this case, the operating surplus generated in the first year covers the cost of the investment in services to maintain, again, the current level. And over 15 years, this model projects 100 new homes will generate a cumulative of $26.7 million in revenue compared to $11.9 million in costs. Next slide. That's the figure, the graph that they have, kind of illustrating that on if you're more visually oriented, what that looks like over a 15-year, and there's an operating surplus of $14.8 million versus cumulative revenue versus cumulative costs. Next slide. This is just the same information kind of annualized or summarized in a text form. I have copies of the report if anybody has it, but in conclusion, based upon this model, which the National Home Builders Association has been using for over 30 years, the home building is a self-sustaining industry, and local governments do not have to operate in the red, do not have to go in debt to provide current services to those new homes that are coming in. Now, of course, this is nuanced. This is looking at single-family homes. We're not looking at different types of construction. This doesn't look at multifamily. This doesn't look at other housing types. It also it takes all of the homes that are built and looks at the numbers and then condenses that down to what it looks like for 100 homes. We know there's different impacts based on where the homes are built, whether it's in the rural areas where you have to stretch out the infrastructure. This is looking at all of that and then kind of distilling it down into the data, looking at all the impacts based on the information we have to date. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but and I have copies of the report and copies of the PowerPoint presentation if anybody would like to have it.
Thank you, Mr. Mullins. Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mullins. I had asked the Home Builders Association of Greater Knoxville to come and just give us some highlights of that report that we received. It's probably been two or three months ago, because it was very lengthy and very detailed. And I want to thank Mr. Mullins for representing them and providing us some of the highlights. I also wanted to thank you for bringing it down to the Knox County level, because in reading the report, one of the observations for me was that it included a regional area. And so I had some concerns going into that report, thinking, is this accurately depicting what we are experiencing here in Knox County? Another thing that, just an observation, was that the report is based on expenditures that counties report every 5 years to the Census Bureau, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that would assume that counties are actually reporting expenses and the number of units accurately, which sometimes we don't really know. You all just get the information as it's reported to the census and then included in this report. And also, it kind of relies on counties are actually expending sufficient funds. So, for example, we know we have numerous road improvement needs in Knox County that have significant price tags. And we're on maybe a 90-year paving cycle. But the report, we are probably providing smaller numbers based on our paving budget. So it's not identifying the greater needs. So it uses a smaller number when actually our needs are greater, with additional expenses to maintain those supportive infrastructure. It also rolls up the expenses for the entire metropolitan statistical area. But I'm so happy that you did it at the Knox County level. Does the report also measure depreciation and deferred maintenance?
I believe it does. I would refer back to the report on that, but I do believe that it does try to factor that in as well.
Okay. And then also, one thing that I observed is that utilities, for example, as part of the infrastructure costs, like KUB has to modernize its sewer system. It's hitting a 100-year mark. And my only observation and a little bit of concern was that the report doesn't capture those hidden infrastructure debt that we may be facing. So if you could just kind of look into that for me and then get back to me. But again, thank you so much for highlighting this, because again, it was a very lengthy report. I'm really glad that the Home Builders Association of Greater Knoxville, they put out this report. I think it's got some helpful information. It gives us a good kind of broad view of the landscape of home building in the regional area. And so thank you, Mr. Mullins, for representing them and being here tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Frazier, I believe, kind of touched, I have a few questions, kind of touched on. So this report, even though it's got 9 counties highlighted, you're saying this report is just for Knox County?
There is a larger report for the 9 counties, and then at Commissioner Frazier's request, they went back and generated a report just for Knox County, and that's what I attempted to kind of summarize here tonight.
And who was the one who actually did this? Who compiled this report?
This report is done by the National Association of Home Builders based upon their model that they generated back in 1996. That they take this model and they take the local data from jurisdictions across the county and then come up with this information. So it's been done for 30 years, over 800 jurisdictions. It's been well tested and vetted. Like any model, there's limitations to it, and some of the things that Commissioner Frazier brought up. Be happy to look into that further, and we can talk about that. And you're right, it does report. We're dependent upon the accuracy of the information that is provided. And if counties aren't spending money, then those numbers aren't going to find its way into this report. But I think high level, if you look at what the county is spending versus the income generated, there is some margin there where there's room for there to be additional spending to help support and improve the infrastructure, and the home building itself still be self-sustaining.
And one of the questions I would like to see if we could find out if it could be part of this report is how many units have been approved that
This
are
doesn't look at the approval, right?
completed.
This looks at the homes after they're being built, not homes that are in the pipeline. You're taking the information based upon the homes that are built, so we're not looking at, what has been approved or what the inventory is coming down the pike.
So that would, but would you agree with me that that would make these numbers a lot different? If
I
we
would-
had that in the equation, if we
I
had what's
think-
been approved, if there's 200 units out there that haven't been completed, but they've already been approved, they're just gotta get done, like physically get done.
I think
That's
the-
gonna skew the numbers.
I think the way the model works, and then the reason they kind of pare it down, taking all the data and then look at it on a 100 home slice, is that if you're looking at 200 homes, you would double the cost impact, and you would double, that's probably not exactly math. Like I said, don't ask me to do math at the podium. But that model would then be able to kind of function in what that would look like, and the numbers would be different, but the margins would be roughly the same.
I'm not following how they would be the same.
The margins would be roughly the same. If you're looking at 100 homes, but you actually build 150, then you would, multiply this, these numbers, both the cost generated and the infrastructure by, 50%. If you're doing half of that, you would reduce it. But the model is meant to kind of look forward as to what the impact is for 100 homes. So if you're doing more than 100, you would apply that actual number to the costs. It's like a math formula. It depends on the numbers you put in. If, these numbers are based on 100 homes built. If it's 200, it would be roughly double that.
Okay, thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Mullins, just walk me through B, the formula B, not B, not formula, I'm sorry, the table B. 'Cause I'm
Table
a
B,
bit
which one?
confused.
Let's go back to
Local
each.
government, general revenue by type.
Okay, so that is for the phase, I believe that's for the phase 3, local government general revenue by type, and so that's more the long-term impact, as the homes are occupied and the.
Nope, not that one. Above. Keep going.
Keep going.
It's the one that has like educational charges at 53,000, transportation there. Is that it? Let me see. It doesn't have a page number.
There's different, and it's a little confusing. Each one of these are based on the 3 phases. So which phase are we wanting to look at?
Well, the question is, it has taxes, but then it has general revenue, and general revenue is like 1.9, taxes at $500,000. Yeah, that's it. The charges versus the revenue taxes, help me understand that a little bit more, if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it.
So I'm trying to look at where you're talking about the charges versus the general revenue.
Yeah.
Well, there's total taxes, 457, and then, the total general revenue. Trying to look.
Because those educational charges, transportation charges, hospital charges, those aren't revenue. Those are so.
I think, and I believe I'll have to go back and look at exactly how that's defined by the report itself. But I think those are money, that's money that's being spent, into the system, that help function for governmental or quasi-governmental functions. That's what they actually are paying into. Not all of that, if education charges, there's people, we still pay fees for education. We still, put money into the system to support our own children, even though they go to public schools. So I think that's what those numbers are attempting to capture.
And would this be the 100, or would this be extrapolate it out.
This would be on the 100 homes.
Okay.
And I'm happy to look at that in more detail and get you more information
Okay.
if you
Please
want.
do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like a copy of the greater report. But just to follow up on Commissioner Lee's question, these statistics are calculated after the home has been completed? Is that what I was hearing from you?
There's three phases. There's during the development and construction. Phases 1 and 2 are, it's kind of the development phase, and while the home is being constructed but before occupied, and then phase 3 are the ongoing impacts after the home has been completed and occupied.
Okay, looking at the costs compared to revenue slide, which is on page 23, and page 24, is another little blur, but, so which phase, does this cover all three phases, this particular?
That would be, yes, that starts, again, you're looking at year 1 and the delta between the revenue and the cost for year 1, then moving forward. So this would capture all three phases.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just throwing this out there. I always heard that there was a latency between development and revenue actually beginning to be received when it comes to residential development. Counties have to effectively subsidize the future or the development, in a sense, of a subdivision, and hope to capture those costs down the road. Like, for instance, investing in road development or utility infrastructure and things like that, where there's actually no property tax being received at that time, and then only once the subdivision actually begins being populated, does revenue start being received and catching up with the investment made in the development by the county, which of course then effectively means that you have county residents that are subsidizing an incoming population. Do you have, I mean, are there like footnotes or something to show where this information is coming from?
The report goes into a lot more detail, but if you're just looking at county expenditures versus property tax, you're absolutely correct, Commissioner Fox. What this report attempts to also do is capture in the impact and revenue generated for the construction workers that are coming in and spending money in the county. All the permitting fees and the other things that are being paid. Again, the lawyer, spending money on his family in the county after he gets a fee for helping get it rezoned. Those things don't directly correlate to, that property tax impact and how the increase in property taxes. Of course, obviously, there's property taxes for undeveloped property, and we know then as it's subdivided, that is increased because each home then gets its own assessment. So that's where that latency is, but this kind of takes a larger, broader view of where the income is coming in during these phases.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
Yes, sir. I was actually doing some math, so I lost track of my train of thought. But I'm assuming that part of the projections have to do with an increasing economy and an increasing desire for these homes. And that if something like that changed, then this could actually have the opposite effect if you had a declining.
We can't control the market, obviously. If the market drops out and we've built 100 homes and 2 of those homes are occupied, obviously those numbers are going to change. Now, the model does take into account, and I couldn't quote you specifically the percentages or numbers, they don't assume 100% occupancy 100% of the time. They do look at, what the average occupancy rates are and sales rates and try to capture that. So you're not looking at all 100 homes being occupied from day one through year 15. But you're right, if there was a drastic change in the market, or people stopped moving here, there was a lesser demand for homes, then those numbers would be different, as would the infrastructure expenditures required to service those homes.
I had a second question.
Okay.
Also, and again, I was just running some quick math, but just Googling, it appears we have 227,000 homes in Knox County now. And if you look at that math, then, and you had said that that it generates 25 million per 100 homes for the net income for the government over a 15-year period.
Are these
Math
new
doesn't-
homes or total homes? Because
Those are total homes, but if they do not, you're saying that they continue to generate this income over and over and over again, and
the income
cumulative-
shrinks once they're occupied, but with a new home, there's that initial investment of the workers, of the development costs, the people that are coming in, and during that construction phase, then that goes away. So you're really there's an initial boost into the economy because that's just like 367 jobs during the construction phase versus 66 jobs that are generated per 100 homes based upon the maintenance of those residents in Knox County. So yeah, you can't, the math won't work right if you're just taking the total number of homes and trying to function that. It's the construction of the new homes that this is really focusing on.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay, so what I hear you saying with that last statement is that the revenue stream and I guess, the return on the investment, because if we're running the county like a business, we're looking at the ROI of, we've got new construction, and so what you're saying is this is very front-loaded.
It is front-loaded.
And it's very front-loaded and can, in the long term, the return is diminished, but the expenses remain.
Well, the expenses they will go up, but not as much as well. I mean, you look at the delta. The front loading is the new homes being constructed, and we're always going to need new homes to be constructed. Homes come off the market. Homes, people move here. Eventually, the population it'll level out, and there won't be a need for it. Which is why you look at a 100-home basis instead of just the number of homes that are actually being built or in the pipeline.
Okay, so if in some scenario, the new home building stopped, does this model work? If there's no new construction with the front loading of the construction and all the, the inflated revenue on the front end, if new construction stopped, does this model work?
If new construction stopped, then the model would stop, moving forward from the date the new construction stopped. But you'd still have the homes that were built. So at what point does it stop? If it stops in year 16, then you're still going to have the ongoing, the phase 3 ripple effect income from those homes that are generated in the future. But you won't have that ongoing, that new investment for the new homes.
Right,
So, yeah.
but in that scenario, we would still have the maintaining of the services and the infrastructure and all of that with the homes that were already built. And the reason I'm asking this is because there is only so much land. And so if we continue to build out, I mean, I'm sure they're still finding a place somewhere to build new homes in Davidson County. But it gets smaller and smaller, and then we're kind of on top of each other. And I was thinking about how to illustrate this. And so if, on our farm, we raise beef cattle, and for so many cattle and steers, I know I can get them sold, and they each have their own fixed cost. And doesn't matter how many I bring in, each of them are going to eat the same amount. The feed cost is going to be the same. The veterinary cost is going to be the same. All of this is going to be the same. But once I reach a threshold, and I know that my income versus expenses for each unit stays the same. Once I reach so many, I'm now having to build on extra barns. I've run out of pasture because the resources that I have for 50 is enough to sustain 50, but as soon as I put 200 on here, now I've run out of grass. I have to bring in more resources to cover that, so now my expenses overall are higher, but the fixed cost per unit or per animal is the same.
I think
And-
that's a fair comparison, except for the fact that cows don't go spend money in the local economy and.
They don't, but I can sell them for a profit. There
You can
is,
sell them
there
for a
is an
profit,
income.
But,
There-
but there's not that multiplying, for your expenses, you don't see the benefit other than what you sell. You don't see the return benefit of $1 being spent to this person, who then spends it to this person, who then spends it to this person, all in Knox County. And so you have $3 worth of income versus one.
True, I get that scenario, but all I'm saying is, if I know that if in this scenario, we know that we're getting, say, $500 per house, and our expense is $200 per house, but if we expand it out, now we have to upgrade things, we have to make, we have to build another school, we have to widen roads, not just maintain what we currently have, but now we have more traffic further out. Now we're widening these highways. So
And this model takes into account the investment that has to happen to maintain the current level of services. If you want to educate the kids that are being brought in, you're going to have to invest in more schools. And this model looks at that expense as part of this.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
I was actually just going to give an example of the point that Commissioner Thompson was trying to make. In Farragut, on one end of Farragut, they have grown to the point where they're having to totally take out all of the sewer lines and replace them with large sewer lines. If they had been a little more moderate with what they had built on the one side, they would not have had to have done that. So at least that is my understanding of that situation. It depends on who you're hearing that story from. But anyway, that is an example. I mean, there's a point where you add one more house, you've got to add a bigger pipe to get the water there.
Thank you. Mr. Mullins, thank you for coming.
Thank you all.
It's good to see you tonight.
Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Next item, please.
We are at public forum, agenda items only.
There's no one signed up for public forum.
Approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
Do I have a motion to approve? I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson, a second by Commissioner Rawls. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Drives and roads, consideration of the acceptance of new county roads. A is Mockingbird Meadows Drive, located in Mockingbird Meadows, District 7. B is Memory Hill Lane. C is Berkeley Landing Lane. They're both located in Berkeley Landing, District 8. D is Jerry Price Drive. E, Painted Shoals Lane. F, Juliet Elise Street. And G, Caroline Gray Street. They're all located in Price's Point, Unit 1, District 9.
I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay and a second by Commissioner Jackson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Line item transfers, total amount of $23,729,498.87.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Budget amendments, total amount of $6,667,144.63.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
We have 135 notary public applications.
Thank you. Do I have a motion? So moved. I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item 23, spread of record. It's the spread of record, the election of Caroline Sudlow to represent the Circuit Court Clerk's Office, Chris Blazer to represent the Criminal Court Clerk's Office, Ian Christie to represent Seat B for the Mayor's Office, and Ann Sutter to represent Seat B for the Sheriff's Office on the Employee Insurance Benefits Committee for the term beginning January 1st, 2026, and ending December 31st, 2029. We are now on item number 24, which is Resolution R-25-9-110. It is accepting the resignation of Ms. Kyle Nahabrini, District 8 seat, from the Knox County Library Advisory Board and appointing Julie Thompson to complete the unfulfilled term for Ms. Nahabrini on the Library Advisory Board, which term expires July 1st, 2026.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
All right, I got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 25 is Resolution R-25-9-111. It's appointing or reappointing two individuals to serve on the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors. The term expired September 30th, 2028.
Thank you. Before we make the motion, Mr. Smith was not here last week to speak, have his time to speak for the Merit Council, and he has asked us ahead of time if he would speak. He was here this evening, so I would like to give him a few moments to introduce himself and tell us a little bit of why he wants to join the Merit Board. So, Mr. Smith, if you will, is he here?
Hi, Chris. Are you still present in the city county building? Oh, no, we just called you to the podium. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Nope, he has left.
Okay, so he's left. All right. So, let me make the motion. So right now we have, I need a motion. Do I need a motion first before we do the names? No, it's after. Okay. Sorry about that. Just remind everybody on the procedure. The clerk will call the roll. As your name is called, you will nominate a candidate or pass. Once we've gone down the roll, the chair will look for a motion to cease nominations. The clerk will call the roll again. This time you will say the name of the candidate in which you would like to vote. If a candidate receives a majority, that person will be appointed to the position. If there's no majority, the candidate with the lowest number of votes will drop off and the process will repeat. So I'm going to read the name of the applicants is J.B. Brennan, Michael Crichton, Daniel Herrera, Christopher Smith, and Sarah Steele. So I will now open up the floor for nominations. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for nominations?
Did you mention Mr. McFall?
Oh, Mr. McFall. I don't know why that was marked out.
I just marked it out because you said it.
I'm sorry about that, Mr. McFall. Yes, let me add him too. Starting one, please.
Read them again, please.
Okay, let me read these one more time. J.B. Brennan, Michael Crichton, Daniel Herrera, Steve McFall, Christopher Smith, and Sarah Steele. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we can start in District 1.
Commissioner Rawls.
Madam Chair, I nominate Steve McFall.
Okay.
Commissioner Durrett is out. Commissioner Oster.
Daniel Herrera.
Commissioner Jackson.
Pass.
You said pass.
Pass, okay.
Commissioner Russell?
Ms. Brennan?
Commissioner Hill? Commissioner Lee? Commissioner Thompson?
Pass.
Commissioner Fox?
Pass.
Commissioner Jay?
Creighton?
And Commissioner Frazier.
Pass.
So we have 4 nominees.
All right, so we have 4 nominees. We have Steve McFall, Daniel Herrera, J.B. Brennan, and Michael Creighton. And now we'll call the roll, and you vote for the person, correct? Vote for one of these 4?
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll do it for a second time because we've got 2 appointments.
Okay, so what district would you like me to start?
We can start in, I guess, me.
With you?
Because Courtney's not here, yes. Daniel Herrera.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
She's just putting the names down.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson?
McFall.
Commissioner Russell?
Herrera.
Commissioner Hill?
Herrera.
Commissioner Lee?
Herrera.
Commissioner Thompson?
Herrera.
Commissioner Fox?
Herrera.
Commissioner Jay?
Creighton?
Commissioner Frazier?
Herrera.
Commissioner Rawls?
McFall.
Okay.
All right, and that was 7, correct? Okay, so Mr. Herrera got 7 votes, so congratulations. Thank you so much for being willing to serve. We will start again with Mr. McFall, Ms. Brennan, and Mr. Creighton.
Brennan, Creighton, and McFall. Starting with Commissioner Jackson.
Mr. McFall.
Commissioner Russell?
Brennan.
Commissioner Hill?
McFall.
Commissioner Lee?
Creighton.
Commissioner Thompson?
Brennan.
Commissioner Fox?
Brennan.
Commissioner Jay?
Brennan?
Commissioner Frazier?
Creighton.
Commissioner Rawls?
McFall.
Commissioner Darrett is out. Commissioner Oster?
Creighton.
So, yeah, 4 for Ms. Brennan, 3 for Creighton, and 3 for McFall. So, does he call it a win? We break that tie.
Break that time. Yep. All right, so we're gonna have to call it one more time. We've got a tie. So again, it's McFall, Brennan, and Creighton.
Starting with Commissioner Russell.
With the bottom 2.
Brennan.
Commissioner Hill? Commissioner Lee?
Creighton.
Commissioner Thompson?
Creighton.
Commissioner Fox?
Brennan.
Commissioner Jay? Commissioner Frazier?
Creighton.
Commissioner Rawls?
McFall.
Commissioner Darrett is out. Commissioner Oster?
Creighton.
Commissioner Jackson?
McFall.
we've got, I'm sorry, which one's this one? McFall, we've got 3. Brennan, we have 3, and Crichton, we have 4.
No, that's not correct.
It's not correct.
We have 3 for McFall, 2 for Brennan, 5 for Crichton.
No, I think she had 3. I think Brennan had 3. She did, but we tied on the other 2.
Yeah, she had 4 the first time, but we had 2, and I think the lowest drop off, is that correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
We're going for the second one now.
10.
Right. The 2 bottom ones tied. So we have to keep doing it. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Everybody has to vote, so that's where we're at. We're tying 2 together.
Yeah. There,
We have to have a majority. So you just keep voting the way you're voting or change your vote. That's it.
Madam Chair, since the first vote, Brennan got 4, and on the second vote, Crichton got 4, and McFall on both votes only received 3, would he not fall off as the lowest scoring candidate?
No, it's tied. Just have to keep voting. So vote for your same people or change your vote. That's your choice, guys. All right, let's start again, please.
okay, now we start with Commissioner Russell. No, Commissioner Hill. Okay. Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee. Commissioner Thompson.
Brennan.
Commissioner Fox.
Brennan.
Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Crichton.
Commissioner Rawls.
McFall.
Commissioner Darrett is out. Commissioner Oster.
Crichton.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Russell.
Brennan.
Or do we drop this one off and then we go back to these 2? Just the highest number. So 5 is the highest? Okay, all right. All right. We have got, Ms. Brennan, thank you for. Wait a minute. No, you're wrong. So we still have to have. Yeah, you gotta drop off. The number 2 has to drop off, and then it's between Brennan and. Okay. One more time. So we are now between Brennan and McFall.
Point of order, so, or clarification, so the number 2 drops off, and then you're.
The
it's
least votes drop off.
So in this case, it would be Crichton.
Okay.
So now we're Brennan and McFall.
Starting with Commissioner Lee.
Brennan.
Commissioner Thompson.
Brennan.
Commissioner Fox.
Brennan.
Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
McFall.
Commissioner Rawls.
McFall.
Commissioner Darrett is out. Commissioner Oster.
McFall.
Commissioner Jackson.
McFall.
Commissioner Russell.
Brennan.
Commissioner Hill. Five and 5.
5 and 5.
Gotta do it again.
today, didn't you?
Commissioner Thompson. Ready?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Brennan.
Commissioner Fox.
Brennan.
Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
McFall.
Commissioner Rawls.
McFall.
Commissioner Oster.
McFall.
Commissioner Jackson.
McFall.
Commissioner Russell.
Brennan.
Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee.
Brennan.
You ready?
We could just keep it going. Yeah. Yeah. So did everybody hear that? We just keep going until somebody gets a majority, or we can postpone it until next month, until we have 11. Just keep going? One more.
All right. Okay, Commissioner Fox,
Brennan,
Commissioner Jay, Commissioner Frazier,
McFall.
Commissioner Rawls,
McFall.
Commissioner Oster,
McFall.
Commissioner Jackson,
McFall.
Commissioner Russell,
Brennan.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Lee,
Brennan.
Commissioner Thompson. Okay.
All right. So we do have a majority of Steve McFall. Mr. McFall, thank you for being willing to serve, and for everyone else that was willing to serve, I appreciate it, and we appreciate it. So, Madam Clerk, if you will read into the record, please.
So it's a resolution appointing Daniel Herrera and Steve McFall to serve on the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Board of Directors. Terms expire September 30th, 2028.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier, second by Commissioner Hill. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
No.
The ayes have, oh, I'm sorry.
Who voted no?
Who was no?
Okay. That's 9 ayes and 1 no.
Yes.
Are we counting as a no?
I'm
We
sorry.
got 2 no's.
I think I would like to abstain.
Wait a minute.
Okay, guys.
Point of order, can we, did we just vote on the resolution on the two names submitted? Is that what we were
Yes.
voting on?
That was what the motion was.
Yes.
And so far, I have 1 no vote from Commissioner Jay, and then Commissioner Fox announced that he wants to vote no, and Commissioner Russell is abstaining.
I'm going to abstain as well.
Okay, you want me to call the roll?
Point of order. Can we have a voice? We do a voice.
We're doing a voice
Roll call
vote,
again.
yeah. If you start in, just start one, please.
To start in District 1.
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Rawls. Commissioner Oster.
Aye.
Commissioner Jackson.
Aye.
Commissioner Russell.
Abstain.
Commissioner Hill. Commissioner Lee.
Abstain.
Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Fox. Commissioner Jay. Commissioner Frazier.
Aye.
6 aye, 1 no, and 3.
6 ayes, 1 no, and 3 abstains. Motion passes. Next item, please.
Next item is number 26, Resolution R-25-9-112, is reappointing Jonathan Repass, District 2, Ashley Williams, District 4, John Elliott, District 6, and appointing an individual for District 8 to the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals. Terms expire September 30th, 2027.
Okay. On this one, we have 2 for District 8, which is Philip Graves and Tommy Lakins. So we'll go ahead and open up the floor for, to vote on either one of those. Again,
Madam Chair, point of order. If it's an appointment, why isn't it the district representative's choice? It's an appointment to BZA. It's not for a full
That's true.
commission.
It's not for a
It's
board.
whoever
Yeah, I
District 8
apologize.
wants to put in there, just put them
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So is this the point where I make my
Yeah, you
appointment?
pick your person.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Philip Graves to the Knox County BZA.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion on the floor to accept Mr. Graves from Commissioner Thompson. Do I have a second? Commissioner Frazier? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Now, would you read that back in, please?
Okay, this is a resolution reappointing Jonathan Repass, District 2, Ashley Williams, District 4, John Elliott, District 6, and appointing Philip Graves for District 8 to the Knox County Board of Zoning Appeals, terms expired September 30th, 2027.
Thank you.
Need a motion in a second.
We do. Next item.
Item number 27 is R-25-9-113, accepting the resignation of Commissioner Angela Russell from the Knox County Audit Committee and appointing a commissioner to succeed Commissioner Russell on the Audit Committee.
All right. So we will open up the floor for nominations of commissioner to fill this spot. Commissioner Russell?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Fox.
Okay, Commissioner Hill?
I'd like to nominate Adam Thompson.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations? Commissioner Jay?
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Oster.
Me? I'm happy to decline that, but thank you. Yeah. I feel like I really have a lot on my plate right now, so, and I would rather somebody be able to put the time in that's needed. But thank you. Any other commissioners? All right, seeing none, we have Commissioner Fox and Commissioner Thompson. So we will voice vote on that and start in District 1.
Commissioner Rawls,
Thompson.
Commissioner Oster,
Thompson.
Commissioner Jackson,
Fox.
Commissioner Russell,
Fox.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Lee, Commissioner Thompson,
Thompson.
Commissioner Fox,
Fox.
Commissioner Jay, Commissioner Frazier,
Oh, we have a tie. Start again. Start with me, it'd be Thompson.
okay, Commissioner Oster votes for Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner Jackson,
Fox.
Commissioner Russell,
Fox.
Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Lee,
Fox.
Commissioner Thompson, Commissioner Fox,
Fox.
Commissioner Jay, Commissioner Frazier, Commissioner Rawls,
Thompson.
5 and 5.
We're probably at a stalemate on this, so
Ready?
can we defer this one for 30 days? All right, do we have a motion to defer this for 30 days?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Madam Chair, just point of order before we vote. Our next audit committee meeting is October 20th.
We need somebody in there then.
I mean, you don't have to, we would still have a quorum we have 5 members, so we would still have 4. It's up to the body. I just want to point it out that we only meet quarterly, unless there's some other extenuating circumstance, so.
May I ask a question?
Hold on one second, please. Commissioner Thompson? Okay. Commissioner Russell?
So it's my resignation and appointing someone, so if the motion doesn't pass, then would I attend the audit committee meeting until someone is appointed?
That's a law director.
You could serve as a holdover under ordinary circumstances, but we've passed this rule that says that you're not qualified to serve, which is what necessitated your resignation. So if you served, you'd be serving in violation of that rule. That's the problem.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wouldn't a vote to defer this effectively be a waiver of the rule? Because this body ultimately can waive any rule, isn't that right?
The body can waive a rule, takes 2/3 vote to waive a rule.
So does that mean then if we have a 2/3?
Yes.
To
If you-
defer.
If 2/3 vote to waive the rule for 1 month so that Commissioner Russell can sit on the October Audit Committee meeting, that would be acceptable.
Thank you.
All right.
Commissioner Hill?
Would it be appropriate to make a motion for us to defer this until our October board meeting? I don't believe I heard Commissioner Jay said it would prevent the audit committee from meeting
No,
and moving forward.
we have 5 members, we can hold a meeting with 4 members, so it doesn't prevent it, I just wanted to point it out.
Thank you. So that is in the form of a motion.
I was just told by Madam Clerk that that Commissioner Rawls made the motion to defer it for 30 days. It didn't have a second.
It didn't have a second. but
Right.
yes.
So, would you like to
I would
second
like to
that?
second that
Okay,
then, yeah.
perfect. All right. And we will do this as a roll call. So, I don't know. This is just to defer until next month.
I'd like to make a friendly motion that we accept my resignation and just postpone the fulfillment until next month.
Does the maker of the motion agree to that?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what the motion was. The motion is to postpone, to just postpone the vote until next week. I mean, not next week, I'm sorry, next month, our next meeting.
They're interrelated. It's to accept my resignation and fulfill it. But I'd like to go ahead and have my resignation accepted. So accept part of the motion, but not the other part.
You're asking that the body vote to accept your resignation as
Yes,
part of this?
yeah, to go ahead and accept my resignation, but postpone the vote to
That's already
fulfill.
that's already in the.
Okay, right.
Yeah, okay. That's already in the caption, is your resignation. So this would be to defer this vote for 30 days, correct? Okay. All right. Do we have any other discussion? Seeing none,
I have one thing. So
Commissioner Jackson?
if we are delaying this for 30 days, we are delaying accepting the resignation of Angela Russell. So should we just amend the current motion to accept the resignation of Commissioner Angela Russell and delay the appointment
in
until next
October?
month?
Does that work? Okay. Yeah, and if you'll start in District 4.
Well, you could, but, I mean, the effect is the same.
Ready?
Yeah.
Commissioner Jackson?
Commissioner Jackson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Russell?
Aye.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Commissioner Fox? Aye. Commissioner Jay? Commissioner Frazier? Commissioner Rawls?
Aye.
Commissioner Oster?
Aye.
10 aye.
All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Sorry, guys, hate to call everybody back. All right. Our next item, please.
The next item is number 30. It's Resolution 902, requesting the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, leadership team to incorporate a comprehensive utility permitting process into the existing UDO efforts.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Okay. Discussion? Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I really want to just separate this one and the next one because they're really two different efforts altogether. This one, as I put on the forum, I want to talk about the next one. I plan to defer it and talk about the next steps of that. But this one was much simpler and much more straightforward. Sorry I was not here last week due to a prior commitment, but I wanted to answer any questions that might be related to number 902. It is very simple. It just takes a vote of this body to codify a request from the UDO team and the leadership team to incorporate some sort of comprehensive utility permitting process into the UDO efforts, but to research it, to better find out best practices, determine, and that would determine any number of things. Current user, I mean, they would have to look at what are current user agreements, what are other models in other similar jurisdiction or municipalities and jurisdictions, look at what agreements are already in place, if people are already paying pilots. So it's asking them to go out and do the research to come up with some recommendations that might be incorporated into that UDO that relates to using our right-of-way. So this isn't just about double poles. This is about using our right-of-way as total. And that could be from an HOA using the right-of-way to put in new sidewalks, or it could be a utility company putting in sewers or electricity or, utility poles or drainage. It could be from personal users that need to encroach on need to use the right-of-way for whatever particular construction. So it's asking this team, go out, find best practices, come back, and see how it can be incorporated into the UDO as a way to move forward. Knox County currently has virtually no permit. It has no permit fees, and it has very little permit process in a comprehensive way, other than if you show up and you want to work in our right-of-way, they issue you a permit, pretty much carte blanche. So that is what this resolution is focused on. Happy to take any questions and discussions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Jay, I'd like a little bit more time with this, but I do have a question about it. Is this regarding some bad actors that we have in the county?
This relates to anybody that wants to use it. So we have a public right-of-way. It is your land, it is my land, it is everyone's land. And so currently, there is no permitting process at all. All of the work falls upon our engineering and public works department. And that's for people that operate properly in the right-of-way, people that operate improperly in the right-of-way, people that at one point operated properly and now won't. A perfect example of this would have been Shod Road, where somebody who has been a good company to work with, didn't relocate and didn't move utilities, and so they had a big issue. Now, I'm going to get into that in the next resolution, but essentially, there is no process by where there's a permit fee at all to use our right-of-way, but yet all the workload falls on our engineering and public works staff to manage that right-of-way, good and bad. So if everything went perfect every single time, fine. But right now, what we're doing is we're adding more and more and more layers of work to our engineering and public works team, and there's no compensation to support that. So the public is subsidizing. Now, it could be a utility that is something everybody uses, but it could be a telecom that not everybody uses. So the public is essentially giving free access to use our right-of-way and then putting a huge amount of administrative work on our engineering team to manage that right-of-way. And so the question is, can you go out and see what is the best practice so that, let's say any telecom X wants to come in. Well, they may come in and use all of our resources, but they don't pay us for that. So it'd be the same thing as if a builder wanted to build a subdivision and there was no permit fee for the building process. We don't do that with all these other things, so why do we do that in the right-of-way? So we're just asking, go out and look and see, how do other people treat their right-of-way and how do they do a permitting process?
Okay. I do like where your head is on that. I would like some time, though, versus making the decision now, because I'm thinking about, too, some bad actors who do not use the right of way and, who become bad partners to the county. And in thinking about that, I'd like maybe some language or possibility of looking at moving to a lawsuit versus holding permits, et cetera.
Well, okay, I really, really want to encourage you to totally separate everything you just said into Resolution 903.
Okay.
Because that is all about 903, and I have already agreed to give a lot more time to that. That is you and I are in that same bucket at 903.
Okay.
But this is 902. This is just asking the same team that just gave us a presentation to go out and look at what people do to manage their right-of-way with a permitting process. Doesn't mean that it will be instituted, doesn't mean it will be approved. It's just come back to us and tell us what you found.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I first want to say thank you to Commissioner Jay for digging into this and also the work that has occurred over the past year. I think it was really effective and productive. I also agree that the processes that we have currently in regards to our right-of-way standards are a bit archaic. In saying that, Director Snowden, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Sure, be glad to.
Sure. So this is really about the UDO. So would this be, as far as utility guidelines, would this be codified in the public right-of-way section of the UDO?
It would be. That would be our intent. The road and bridge standards section that currently houses our sidewalk standards as well as our, different various residential, industrial cross-sections, it would reside in that document.
Okay, so would this work be included as part of the consultant's current scope of work, or would another consultant be necessary to bring in?
It would be. We've talked to Orion about this. This really isn't in their wheelhouse, as well as these utilities are typically kind of local issues. We need probably a local firm to that understands, permitting with KUB and LCUB to kind of maintain those good partnerships, as Commissioner Jay said, really to kind of, look at what other municipalities are doing in our area. So it would be a supplement to that work, and it would be most likely a local engineering firm that has experience with all these various utilities.
So at that point, would we have to find additional funding for that consultant? And then would that consultant work with Orion? Can you just, and do we have an estimate of what that additional funding might be and how it would be funded?
Sure, yeah. I kind of expected that question, so I talked to one of the consultants that we potentially could use on this. They estimated kind of a ceiling of around $50,000 to do the outreach and the inclusion of the plan. Yes, that consultant would work very much closely with Orion. They would be involved in our leadership meetings and things like that to ensure that there was a seamless transition. But the that dollar amount would be something that we could handle. Mr. Caldwell was so gracious to allow us to use some ARP money for this consultant or the Orion contract. So we had some money in our account, the engineering account, that we had slated to pay for that. So we actually have some, I guess, surplus money for the project that we could use without asking for additional appropriation or any kind of amount from this body.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I do support this piece of the issue that Commissioner Jay has brought forward, because what we're doing right now isn't working. I mean, that's just the truth of it, and it really, it's not even any point at pointing fingers, because nobody appears to be able to do anything anyway. So to include this in our UDO, which it would seem this would be the ideal time, since we're in the middle of a total rewrite, is not even saying in the end we'll charge fees or we'll do one thing or another. It merely is just asking this process to investigate it along with other things that we're doing that fall under the UDO, to find out what best practices are and what other counties are in fact doing. So it really is nothing final at all. But I do absolutely feel the sense of urgency that it does need to be included. We've got, in my own district, we have got a state road being held up this minute because we cannot get Frontier, I don't care to call them out, to come and move some poles in front of a new development so we can get the road widened. I mean, this is just crazy that we have no authority to do anything to get this to happen. So I do feel the sense of urgency to include this in the UDO. We don't know what it's going to look like, but it definitely needs to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jay, I'm not opposed to this at all. I almost feel a little bit like I would like both of these to kind of come online at the same time, is just my feeling about it. With the UDO, Director Snowden, if it goes on the UDO and we've got Frontier doing what they're doing over on Emory, is that right?
Well, Madam Chair, I just want to point out, like, please, that is separate of what this resolution is.
So this doesn't have anything to do
Has
with
nothing to do with-
franchise fees or anything like that?
No, I'm going to get to that in 903.
Okay.
This is,
Okay.
and if you would permit me, the reason I wanted to proceed with this is because we're right in the timeline of the UDO and adding this in, and I'm going to make a motion to delay the other one 90 days so we can have some more meeting and time, because it's much more complicated, and I don't want to pick it back up in December and this team is so far ahead.
Yeah.
I want to kind of make sure it's right there at the same time so we don't delay anything with the UDO by sliding this in at this point.
Okay. Okay, maybe my question in this area is not relevant then. Putting it in the UDO codifies it, meaning that we have a little bit more say, and you guys have a little bit more say than what you feel like you've got right now. Is that?
That's correct, Chairman. Right now, not routinely, but sometimes when we do get a bad actor, we will hold permits, but we don't have, certainly it's not codified anywhere. That's just something that we try to do. And it seems to work fairly well, but if someone called us on it, I don't know if we would have the legislative authority to back that up.
Okay. But that's something that can be discussed during the process to see what we're able to do with legal department. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Snowden, so, we've talked a few times about, what can we do on our end to make your life and your job and things easier more streamlined, more enforceable, where it's a little more black and white and gives you, I guess, more solid ground to stand on when you come across the situation. From what understanding, this does that, correct?
That's correct. Our procedure, much like we talk about our zoning code, is really old. I don't think our utility permitting process is that old, but it is pretty old, and it's never went through what I would consider a really robust review like what this is proposing to do.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All right, we've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay and a second by Commissioner Hill. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 31 is Resolution 903. It's granting authority to Knox County Engineering and Public Works to withhold future utility permit applications of utility providers that do not comply with county procedures or promptly address matters such as the removal of surplus equipment, facilities, remediation and hazardous facilities, and the relocation of facilities in conflict with Knox County road projects.
Motion to defer 90 days, but with discussion.
Second.
All right, I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay to defer for 90 days with discussion, a second by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Commissioners. And I apologize for sort of jumping in on the last one because I really want to separate the two issues. As you know, for nearly 15 months, and with many people on this commission participating, we've been working on essentially how to clean up Knox County, how to make Knox County safer, and how to make sure that we are working with people that are respecting the right-of-way and the safety of our citizens and the aesthetics of our community. And that had started with double poles, but really it expands to anything in the right-of-way. And so I tell you, about 15 months ago when we started this process, I started in a very, very different way, which was focused purely on double poles. It was focused on, per pole penalties per day, giving utilities a 6 months of time to clean it up, and then really being punitive. And then over time, as they came to the table and as this commission worked through things, we all agreed to sit down for a year and meet and sort of address the problem. And so we did that, and we met many, many times over the year. As I've reported this July, some people very active in participating and solving the problem, some people, not so much, and some people just ignored us flat out. And really, what this gets down to is those bad actors. So I want to show a very perfect example. I'm asking the team to put up a photo, and it was referenced by Commissioner Hill. So right across, this is right at Belltown. This is West Emory Road, and it's just up the road from Clinton Highway intersection. You guys know where Belltown is. There's a commercial entity of Belltown across the street. This commission has approved the road widening well past Belltown, the next neighborhood, all the way back to Clinton Highway to make things 2 lanes, turn lanes, sidewalks, infrastructure, and that includes private contractors, public money, private money from the developer. This is a massive project. I don't know exactly the dollar amount, but I know it's in the millions. And as you can see, right here in the center, you see the big mound of dirt at the end with the cone and that pole, and then everything behind it, and then it comes up. And if I were to show you the next 6 pictures in the other direction, you would see that this entire Knox County road project is being held up by one telecom company that has chosen to ignore us, and that is Frontier. And they have not moved those lines. Now, those poles are owned by KUB, and KUB has been a very active partner for the last year, removing thousands and thousands of poles. But they cannot remove their poles until these lines are moved over to the brand-new poles sitting there on the other side of the road, which you see. So one company has been unresponsive, and I promise you, he will testify to this, Commissioner Snowden. They have tried emails, they have tried phone calls, they probably sent carrier pigeons with notes on them and said, come and do this. Now, what was amazing is this one telecom company was part of the construction process, part of the construction meetings, the timeline, the schedule, everything on the front end. Hey, we're coming, we're widening at the table, and now has just completely ghosted us. And the entire thing can't proceed until this one company. But here's what this resolution is really about. If Frontier showed up to Jim's office today and said, I would like some new permits to run brand-new lines in Hardin Valley, he would have to give it to them. Even though they're holding up this project, and this has happened on Shad Road with another telecom company, this has happened, he could probably give you 20 examples off the top of his head where the work of the public is being stopped because companies do not want to spend money on things that don't generate revenue. And they have basically thumbed it in our eye and said, you know what, I'll get to you when I get to you. And it's costing us real money. It's costing our partners in development real money. It's costing neighborhoods real angst because this is going to sit there for how long? Waiting for more and more. I mean, the neighbors are infected, everybody's infected, and he would have to give them new permits. And so the crux of this ordinance, and again, I'm going to defer it for 90 days. I'm going to hold another meeting, sometime the end of October, beginning of November, with plenty of time. We'll do it in the main assembly. We'll invite all of you. We'll invite every telecom. We'll invite every neighborhood, anybody who wants to come and have a big discussion about this. And we'll talk about this resolution because what we're doing here and what I'm asking you to do is grant Mr. Snowden and his team the ability to just say no. You don't get to put new lines in Hardin Valley until you finish the work over here. And there is a perfect example of this in the 5th District. The town of Farragut has virtually no double poles because they do this. They say, sorry, you can't start here until you clean up that. But this doesn't just apply to double poles. This applies to sewage pipes. Imagine Hallsdale Powell up in your guys' area, up in District 7, put all those new sewer lines in and then just left the old sewer lines right next to the hole, right? And just covered it up and just said, there you go, and just left them behind. I promise you, Commissioner Lee would have a coronary and would go crazy and the residents would go crazy. So just because it's vertical does not mean it's not garbage. What we're doing is giving the ability. This has nothing to do with fines. This has nothing to do with any other like punitive monetary thing. It's just saying, Mr. Snowden, you have the ability to say no until they comply with the thing that they agreed to on the front end. So with that, I'll take questions. Again, I will poll the public meeting, but I'm happy to talk about it tonight, and apologies for not being here next week.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Why don't we just amend this to just say, if you look at the resolution itself, the Knox County Engineering and Public Works Department is hereby authorized to withhold all future utility permit applications made by Frontier Telecom, period.
Well, because there's about 9 or 10 different people that could be falling into that. And I think there is a lot of questions too about, there have been a lot of questions raised by certainly utility and telecom companies and some other commissioners. So I'm just sort of giving a little bit of breathing room, and I think versus pushing it through tonight. I mean, I'm happy to respect the process of it.
Well, I'm not saying I'm just saying this one because they've been particularly resistant. So we say, and again, we're not saying that EPW has to withhold it. We're just saying, well, for this one, you got permission, and then we can deal with the rest of it later. I mean, that's what I would do, because 90 days is a long time, and this project is still just sitting there, and, you know, the weather's going to get bad in 90 days, and it's going to sit there anyways, and, you know, we may be effectively postponing this project for a long time if we don't give some kind of club to EPW with respect to this particular company. That's just my 2 cents.
Director Moyers, would you like to address that?
Well, I think naming a particular company is for legal action or for legislative action comes pretty close to a bill of attainder. I'm not sure that would be constitutional. But what we can do, and I texted Director Snowden in the process of this, we can bring a lawsuit against Frontier. We can ask them for a mandatory injunction from a court to order them to move their pole. And I'm happy to start working on that tomorrow. Nobody's referred it to us, but that would be the better way to go than passing a resolution directed at one pole. And so, you know, that's, for this project and anything else that's being held up, that is a route we can go. I file lawsuits in the negative to make people clean up their lots all the time. We can do the same thing here.
Thank you. Commissioner Rawls?
Just, thank you, Madam Chair. This, Mr. Stoughton, just a question. Mr. Moyers, I do like your zeal for filing a lawsuit. And that's my question, is what are the steps that you guys take? Like, how long is too long? I mean, if we're talking 90 days, we're talking big construction projects, we're talking hundreds of thousands being burned weekly, right? So at what point would you guys begin to file a lawsuit? Or is it even in your, you know, in the way that you guys do business?
Well, we've never really pursued that action. I think that's a good stick for us to have in our toolbox. In this case, and Commissioner Jay referenced this, I mean, before we even acquired the right-of-way necessary for this project, Frontier was sitting at the table. They saw our plans. We said, hey, this is the impact it's going to be to you. So they've had, well, I would assume somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 to 18 months. Everyone else has relocated. So, I always want to be fair and equitable. I don't want to be punitive in any measure. We want to build good relationships with these folks, but we also want to make sure that at the end of the day, the public's interests are not being taken advantage of. And in this case, this particular utility has really been pretty much non-responsive for, I would say, a good 60 days. So, I mean, I think it's at the time that, this action may be needed and warranted.
Okay. I'm in favor of the 90 days. I'm in favor of the resolution. I just want to put some teeth in here too, right? I don't want somebody to be dragging us along like this.
Yeah, we had another instance that reminds me, we had a project a couple of years ago that we had a road closed. In this case, the traffic's still out there. It's actively moving. It's an inconvenience, but it's not, that big a deal. We had a road closed, and I'm not going to name the utility, but that would not get off a set of poles, and that was the only reason the road was closed. So these type tools that Mr. Moyers mentioned or that our consultant can come up with will be invaluable for us to minimize that disruption and inconvenience to our citizens.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Moyers, how would we, what is the process for the lawsuit? Do we have to vote on that, or is that
No,
something? Because
no,
I'd be
no.
all in favor of that,
No,
of doing a
it's-
lawsuit.
To me, it's the same as getting a referral from the codes department. If Mr. Snowden asks me to pull the trigger on filing a lawsuit for a mandatory injunction to require them to move the pole, we'll get right on that.
Would you do that, Mr. Snowden?
I will. I would like to talk to the mayor about it. Obviously, I do report to him, and I would want to get his concurrence on that, but I do think in certain instances, and this being one of them, it would be my recommendation to proceed in that direction.
So you would get back to us, because I would
Yes,
like to
ma'am.
know the answer. Thank you.
Be glad to.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Moyers, it wasn't too long ago that you and I had a conversation about having an injunction and a lawsuit and things about something in the 8th District. So if Commissioner Hill is amenable to it too, I think this would be very appropriate, given that they've been non-responsive for 60 days and they were part of the process for 16 to 18 months, and everyone else has moved. They're the only ones left. It just seems logical. That's the next step.
Yeah, that's, like I said, I work with the codes department all the time, filing these kinds of lawsuits when we can't get, action the ordinary way or through letters and things like that. It just hasn't been referred to me. It doesn't really require any action from this body. I just need somebody in the administration to say, hey, sue these guys, and we'll do it. It's not a problem.
Well, there you go. Commissioner Jay?
Thank you. Wrapping up the conversation, I want to just say thank you. I know everybody on this commission wants a safer Knox County, wants a cleaner Knox County, and wants to solve these problems long-term. I appreciate the patience. It's been a long journey ahead to this point, and I think it still will be, but I really appreciate the support to give it a pause, to come to the table, try to work through the next steps, and let us all forget that, we are the public, and we are the public's land, and we want to have good partners, but we also want to make sure that people do the right thing and don't take advantage of us or our engineering team. So thank you very much, Commissioners.
Commissioner Jay, thank you for postponing this for 90 days, because I think that gives everybody time to get to the table and talk, because they're definitely, my two utility companies will, have been good partners and attended your meetings so far. And I may suggest before the meeting, if there's some legal questions that commission has, send those over to Director Moyers, so you'll kind of have those answers, instead of kind of putting him on the spot there that may not actively have it. But I think it could be extremely helpful, and so I'm looking forward to the discussion. I think we can definitely get to a happy medium in there somewhere. So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay to defer for 90 days and a second by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
Item number 33 is Resolution 905. It's approving an amendment to the Knox County Sheriff's Office Employees Merit System Rules and Regulations, subsection 3.1.B.6, Structure and Qualifications, to provide for members of the Merit System Board to be eligible to serve if he or she has not previously been employed by the Sheriff's Office within the 5 years instead of 10 years preceding his or her appointment, and to remove the requirement that a person is not eligible to serve on the Merit System Board if any member of the person's family is or becomes employed by the Knoxville Police Department.
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second? I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier and a second by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Frazier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a reminder, I mentioned at the agenda review that you'll see this resolution in addition to the ordinance regarding the Merit System Board, because the ordinance makes the change in the Knox County Code. However, the eligibility requirements of Merit System Board members are also set out in the Merit System Board's rules and regulations, which is adopted and amended by resolution of the commission. Therefore, we need the separate resolution to amend the rules and regulations so that it is consistent with the ordinance with the Knox County Code.
Thank you. Commissioner Jay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not exactly sure if there was much conversation this last week, but I just want to follow up on some of my comments and thoughts from last time on the first reading. I have implored all of you in the best way I can not to take the guardrails off of the merit system that we worked so hard to reform, so we can keep politics and potential corruption at bay for the benefit of our officers, the purpose of this merit system. In a time when public corruption, especially in Knox County, is, I think, right back at its peak, with things that have happened 5 years ago that are just coming to trial, things that have happened in the last 2 years, things that are going on right now. This is not the time to put the guardrails down and allow the potential for more politics and more political corruption and to go back to where we started. I sort of sat here in amazement as tonight this commission kicked off 2 people from the current Merit System Board with a combined 50 years of law enforcement experience. One who has served for the last term, multiple years, with honor and integrity for the officers. One who you all unanimously voted for 2 months ago, who also is a long-tenured law enforcement professional and completely booted two people that are officers, were officers, and have experience with officers for at least one purely political choice with no law enforcement experience whatsoever. I sat here in amazement as we've already backslid the first step into going right back where we started from with political positions and political people who, this is not what this merit system is for. We are in a time where it's getting more political, and we're losing sight of what we do and why we do it. And the merit system is something that is for our officers. It is for their protection. And I'm sorry, but this effort reeks of making it more political. I mean, the sponsor of this resolution has a family member who's a treasurer for a potential sheriff's candidate, or that is a sheriff's candidate in an election that we're like months away from. So we have an election right around the corner. And remember, the merit system is all about protecting the officers from political retribution. So when a new sheriff comes in, they can't just go clean house and fire anybody they want because they weren't on the team or they weren't buddies or whatever. It protects our officers. And so in like 7 months, we have a primary, and another 4 months after that, we have a general. And by next September, we're going to have a new sheriff. And so to pull guardrails off now, to add more people to the board now that are political in nature, and then to then bring more guardrails down to let more people in, it seems like an incredible backslide to where we started and how it got so bad. So I'm going to make a substitute amendment to actually approve this as you all want to approve it, but to take effect on January 1, 2027. Because then that will allow for a new sheriff to come in, for at least 4 to 5 months to pass of time where hopefully they won't clear house and these protections will stay in place and the board will uphold them and let the dust settle. And then if you all want these restrictions to be reduced, then give it some time and make sure that it's not abused now between now and the next sheriff, because I want our officers protected at all costs. And with an election coming, I can tell you they're nervous. They're nervous once again, and the only backstop they have is a honest, fair, and ethical merit system board that will follow the rules and make sure that they don't have retribution. So my substitute motion is to approve this as written, but to take effect on January 1st, 2027.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Russell?
I would like to offer a friendly amendment to change the 10 to 8 years. To change the 5 to 8 years. And again, that has to do with a complete political cycle. If you have a sheriff in there who gets in there for 2 terms, that lasts 8 years. And I just think that it gives time for the friend and buddy system to have kind of dissipated a little more at 8 years than 5 years. But I do agree that 10 years is too long, but I do think 8 years because that's 2 election cycles.
I would amend my motion to make it 8 years and take effect on January 1, 2027. Would the second concur?
Yes, I do. I do have I'm just trying to get my arms around where we were because just to explain my change in position. I was concerned, are we going to have adequate numbers of people to serve on this board or this committee? And then we had all these people sign up, and I'm like, this is not really a concern of having enough people to possibly serve. So then we can keep the gate very narrow. And so that's why I've changed my position about it. So again, originally it was, Commissioner Jay, that 10 years, no Knox County, no KPD. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now is it just Knox County, or the proposal on before you made your motion was just Knox County in 5 years? Or is KPD still in place?
Well, as it's written in here, it's employed by the sheriff's office in 5 years instead of 10, and removing the KPD. So just seeing that the body was okay with that, and in the last vote and the last discussions, I was just amending, this to when to take effect and agreeing with it. Commissioner, well, let's see, hold on, let me read this on that. Yeah, 5 years instead of 10, and removing the requirement that a person is not eligible to serve on the Merit System Board of any members so separating the KPD completely.
Yeah.
So I was just amending it to when it would take effect. Commissioner Russell had suggested 8 years instead of 10, because that does have two full spans of a potential sheriff's thing. So I'm okay amending it to 8 with the taking of effect, but the second, that's you, would have to concur with that.
I concur.
Commissioner Frazier?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm willing to find compromise. What I would like to say is, this was brought forward because we all made a pledge that we would advocate for more citizen involvement on county boards and committees. As I mentioned to you all when I brought this forward, I don't think any individual should be limited to serve their community because of their profession. I think that we should all be able to use our skills and qualifications to give back to our community. So this was to minimize barriers for individuals who have served and protected this community their entire career, and then wanted to continue to serve the community, but could not use their experience for 10 years. This was not political, and I take great offense of you implying that it was. It's unprofessional, and it is disrespectful. I've heard from officers, I've heard from past members of the Merit Board who said there were false statements made at this commission about happenings at the Merit Board. I said nothing. I was respectful. I also have information that one of the applicants for Merit Board did not disclose how they learned of the opening on Merit Board. I take issue with that. Merit Board should be completely transparent. If you can't be transparent when asked a simple question about how you learned about an opening on the board you wish to serve, then you are not going to represent my officers. I have a reason that I can justify all day long for every decision that I make as the commissioner representing all of Knox County. I will never be doubted for that. So I am willing to compromise to 8 years without the start date of January 1st, 2027.
Thank you. Commissioner Russell?
I just wanted to say that my primary position on the resolution has to do with the fact that we have discussed not having any conflict of interest quite a lot the last few months. And that is why I don't feel like 5 years is enough time to eliminate a potential conflict of interest. And that's why I suggested the 8. To me, KPD, there's no conflict of interest there. But if you've been in the sheriff's office within the last 5 years, and it's still the same sheriff, and it's the sheriff maybe that you have an axe to grind with, you may be you could grind that axe in 5 years. 8 years, you're under a totally different person who's in charge, and it eliminates any potential conflict of interest. And we've talked about conflict of interest so much lately. I just want to make sure that we're eliminating any conflict of interest, and that's why I keep going back to that 8.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to further state and clarify why I changed my position, because I thought of the Air Force Academy. The Air Force Academy, I think if you want to fly a plane, you go to the Air Force Academy, you want to actually fly, you have to have 20/20 vision. And there are, I think, tons of great candidates who are at the Air Force Academy who don't have 20/20 vision, but would be otherwise available or would qualify. It's just there's so many that have all the same qualifications and have 20/20 vision that they can limit it to that because there's enough of a pool. And that's how I look at this. It's like we had all these people. I don't think any of these people who applied had that they didn't, because we haven't changed the rules yet. So all these people that applied, they didn't have this restriction of not being part of the sheriff's office or KPD. And so it's like, why do we need to broaden it if we already have enough people showing up in the first place? But that's why I'm changed my mind about this. But I'm fine with 8 years, and I'll leave it up to other people, because I think as far as procedurally, we're still on the motion made by Commissioner Jay that was seconded by Commissioner Russell that would only go into effect on January 27th. So that's where we are, I believe.
Commissioner Hill?
I do concur with what you bring forth, Commissioner Fox, in that initially I was more likely to support this because we were dying for applicants on the merit board. I mean, we would have an opening and we'd have, 2 people maybe. And I actually did have 2 different officers contact me in the last couple months about applicants, and I said, well, help us find some, if especially if you want a change. And either they did or somebody did, because our number grew from 2 to 7. So I was very, very pleased to see the applicant pool that we had. And for whatever reason, someone might feel like they were or were not elected today, I do feel like we, for the first time in a long time, really had good choices to make. So I am more inclined to support the new motion myself, given that.
Commissioner Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess what bothers me about previous statements was how little faith do we have in the integrity of the sheriff that the people are electing. And if anything, we've got a larger pool of sheriff candidates this round than we have in the past. And I would dare say the integrity of all the candidates is pretty well intact. And I've spoken with our current sheriff and several former merit board members who were, one, the sheriff was, it's whatever you all decide. One way or the other, it didn't matter. That's the merit board, and it's to take care of the officers. But the former merit board members were highly supportive of this, knowing the painstaking effort that we went through to take the political rhetoric and tone out of the merit board. So if anybody decides to go work on a campaign, they cannot serve on the merit board. And that's, you know, there have been merit board members who have left for that very reason, who would love to have continued to serve, but no, they felt a calling to support a candidate, become a candidate, whatever it may be, and they did what they were supposed to do and walked away. And so, but there have been concerns that 8-10 year span is too long, because once they get 8-10 years out, they've lost interest. They're retired. They moved on with their lives. Their pace has changed. They've settled into a new life, if you will, and going back into service after that tone of their life has cooled down quite a bit. And finding those candidates, so that, yes, this time we had several candidates for merit board, but what about next time? You know, we had 2 seats to fill, and there was, I dare say, because of this discussion, there was a little more attention that, hey, we had some openings. That's not the case every time. Now, granted, merit board is not the library board, but it's like pulling teeth to find some people for these volunteer boards. And good qualified candidates. So, I mean, I'm still in support of the 5 years and no KPD, just from the feedback that I've received from former merit board members, and my interactions and conversations with them, and their history of what the merit board, how it's transformed and how we got to where we currently are, and how comfortable they were having gone through all of that transition period, how comfortable they were now making this change, now that the political rhetoric has been taken out of it. So, thank you.
Commissioner Jackson?
First is just a point of clarification, Director Moyers. If we amend what was approved last month, does tonight technically become first reading?
Well, right now, we're on the resolution. That wasn't on last month. Because of the way we do things now, we not only have the ordinance, but we also have the resolution that sets forth the rules. So we're right now on the resolution. But your question, I think, is if we change the ordinance, which we would have to do to reflect what we've done in the resolution, otherwise they'd be contradictory. That's a pretty significant change, particularly if we accept everything that Commissioner Jay has suggested here. It might be well to consider that basically first reading and second reading, you know, as amended tonight.
So I have a question for Commissioner Frazier. If we were to, since it looks like we're probably going to have a second reading anyway on this.
Can you pull your mic just a little closer?
If you were to amend this and include the 5 years, but state something, I don't know exactly how, I'm kind of thinking this as I'm thinking out loud here, that if they had not been part of the current sheriff's administration, the 5 years would still be valid. So in other words, if, 5 years is the limit, as long as the sheriff has changed. Does that make sense?
I think that's an excellent suggestion.
I'll take suggestions on how we can affect that.
I would too, from the law director.
I think we have a point of order. Don't we have a motion and a second we got to vote on,
We've got a
Mr.?
substitute motion right now
Yeah.
on the floor. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just still in discussion. Yeah.
Because I could technically make a substitute to the substitute, correct?
You could, but yeah.
But you can't make a substitute.
No, but right now we're in the right now, we're in the discussion of the substitute, then we will vote on the substitute.
Wasn't my
and then we
motion
will-
a substitute when I changed it from 5 to 8?
That was
an amendment.
Commissioner Jay's, and he accepted your friendly amendment.
I'm just trying to keep.
Yeah.
So could we just have some discussion on, you know, what I had just referenced about the 5 years, as long as it's a new sheriff? And maybe we ought to delay this for 30 days and maybe revisit the wording of everything?
That was, yes,
Madam Chair.
that would be my ask to Commissioner Frazier, but,
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Rawls?
Robert's rules is when a substitution and a discussion is on the table, you're only discussing
Just the
that
substitute
thing.
motion.
So we cannot we should not discuss to convolute it with the new dates. I like what you're saying, but for the sake of clarity,
Yeah.
we have to stay on the substitute.
Commissioner
and then
Thompson.
finish it.
Do you have any other discussions about this substitute that we have on the floor right now? That,
Very briefly.
okay.
Yes, because in the spirit of what Commissioner Jackson just mentioned and where I think this conversation is turned, I'd like to go ahead and, I guess, call this question so we can, I guess, put this substitute to bed and move forward with the other conversation.
Correct.
May I
Commissioner,
speak before it's called, since my light was
I
already
need
on?
to be able to call on you instead of you asking me that, so I can see you right here. Commissioner Russell? It just gets so confusing when everybody's talking to me at one time, guys, so I just need to use this. Okay, go ahead, you got the floor.
So to clarify, you have made a motion that you are willing to change the 5 to 8 years, but not accept the 2027 as a compromise. You were willing to accept the 8 years, but not do the 2027 sunset or start date. Okay, and it was seconded?
It was seconded, yeah. Yeah, we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jay and a second by Commissioner Fox. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and vote on right now. Commissioner Jackson?
One last comment. I will be voting no against this. I think we need to, I recommend everybody vote no, so that way we can, you know, put this, let's go back to the drawing board.
Okay, so,
Madam Chair, can I clarify? So my motion that's currently on the table is to amend this to 8 years and take effect on January 1st, 2027.
correct.
And that is what Commissioner Fox seconded. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Does everybody understand where we are? Okay, so we have a substitute motion on the floor for it to go to 8 years, with it being effective January 1, 2027. That motion's been, it's been a motion. We've got a second. We're getting ready to vote on that. On the 2027. Yes.
So,
8 years in 2027. Yes,
calling
ma'am.
on me? Thank you. So just to clarify, we vote the substitute down, which is what this is.
We're getting ready to vote the substitute, get on the.
I'm
on the
asking, if we
substitute.
vote the substitute down,
Yeah.
then we're back to the
And then we're back to the original motion.
And that is the one that we are hoping to postpone?
Well, we'll let Commissioner
Or we'll
Frazier,
propose postponing?
yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear.
Commissioner Frazier can then make a motion. But this is where we are right now, is a substitute motion. Let's get this out of the way. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just do a roll call vote. I don't care.
This is on the substitute motion.
We're voting on the substitute motion, and we're doing a roll call.
Yes. And the substitute motion is to change 8 years to be effective January 1st, 2027. Is that
Correct.
Okay. Commissioner Rawls.
The substitute motion that we've got on the floor is to start January 1, 2027, is what,
Yeah.
we're on the substitute that Commissioner Jay did. He didn't accept that. So he's doing the substitute motion. That's what we have to vote on before, and then we'll go back to the original.
Ready?
Yeah.
Commissioner Rawls.
No.
Commissioner Oster.
No.
Commissioner Jackson.
No.
Commissioner Russell.
Yes.
Commissioner Hill. No. Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
No.
Commissioner Fox. Yes. Commissioner Jay. Yes. Commissioner Frazier.
No.
Okay, it failed. All right. Commissioner Frazier.
I would like to make a motion to postpone for 60 days.
We've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier and a second by Commissioner Jackson to postpone for 60 days. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next item, please.
We are on item number 34, which is ordinance O-25-8-101. It's amending the Knox County Code, Chapter 42, Article 2, Division 2, Section 42 through 53, Merit System Board of Directors, to revise in subsection C the qualifications for members of the Merit System Board to be eligible to serve if he or she has not previously been employed by the Sheriff's Office within the 5 years instead of 10 years preceding his or her appointment, and to remove the requirement that a person is not eligible to serve on the Merit System Board if any member of the person's family is or becomes employed by the Knoxville Police Department. This amends ordinance O-90-9-111 adopted September 10th, 1990. Ordinance O-91-8-114 adopted November 25th, 1991. Ordinance O-95-4-101 adopted April 24th, 1995. Ordinance number O-19-1-101 adopted February 25th, 2019, and ordinance O-22-6-103 adopted July 25th, 2022. This is on second reading.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to postpone for 60 days.
All right, I've got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Frazier to postpone for 60 days and a second by Commissioner Jackson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We have no one for public forum. Other business. Everybody send Drew your best wishes. She is under the weather, and thank you, Sharon, for going solo. You took care of us tonight. Happy birthday to Commissioner Lee and Commissioner Russell. Don't forget, October 8th through the 10th is our fall conference, and we are hosting. So if you can be there at some of the events, that would be great. I have got a form, and the Sheriff's Office is doing Officer Blakely's Memorial Golf Tournament. They are still in need of hole sponsors or teams. So if you guys want to grab one of these and take it, if you know somebody who wants to host a team, or if you just want to do a hole sponsor, but they're still looking for hole sponsors, so that would be helpful. I didn't have anybody signed up to speak. Yeah. Okay, that was that. does anybody have any other issues? Okay. I'm sorry if I was snappy tonight. There was just a lot coming at me at one time, and I just need everybody to use their microphone. I'd like to just leave you with this. There's no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit, by President Reagan. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second? We are adjourned.